Ha superado al defensor. Ese es el portero. Número 24. Número 20. Para llegar al descanso y gana un nuevo gol.
usual pre-derby headlines, but I must say in both press conferences the two managers hugely complimentary and respectful about each other.
United, Anthony Martial on the right-hand side with Lingard in behind Romelu Lukaku, who will now chase this ball and put some pressure on company. And Otamendi has to tidy things up. Back he goes to Ederson, the goalkeeper, and it's the high press that really devastated Arsenal at the Emirates in the early stages last weekend, and got United a 2-goal lead very, very early on. Do you think that's the same approach today as the first foul is committed by Antonio Valencia?
Well, it would appear so. Straight from the kick-off, they knocked a long ball, Matic all the way up to the top. For Martial on the side, with Lukaku trying to put the back four under pressure. And I think they will try to press at times, but more of what you see that against the City side, you've got to be all on the same players behind the ball. Lukaku
one of the most stringent. And some space for De Bruyne, trying to flick it towards the penalty area. Given away by Manchester United. Matic gets another opportunity, then a late tackle advantage being played. The tackle went in from Kyle Walker. Michael Oliver may go back and revisit that one, but United are taking advantage here. Rashford down that left-hand side. It's Fernandinho who's dropped into the right-back position. Who's that off last? Looks like a goal kick. Rashford thinks it's a corner, and it is a yellow card to Kyle Walker for that challenge in the United half, and that's an interesting turn of events with 3.5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, he was late, he went for the ball, but Herrera was too quick for him. And already this game is boiling over because there's a couple of things happened off the ball. Lukaku made a run into the box and he tangled with Delph 2 or 3 times in that last move. They were tugging each other's shirts, throwing little elbows at each other, so keep your eye on that one. There's things going on all over the place. We need another pair of eyes.
Well, we would have had another pair of eyes, but unfortunately our colleague Graham Lasso, you've heard about the potential for 8 inches of snow overnight here. Well, it hit England lower down, further south, so it's the North Midlands and further south that have been struck by the heavy snow, and that meant that Graham couldn't get to the game today. Unfortunately, roads closed and very treacherous out there. It's perfectly safe and warm, and I'm sure watching this one at home. Here's Herrera, skips past the challenge of Silva. Rashford looks lively early on, and he'll be more than aware that Kyle Walker's now on a yellow card. Young with the long ball forward into no man's land.
Oh, I've just seen something brilliant happen off the ball again. It's just great. Silva made a run and went into the back four of Manchester United, and Herrera had to go with him. And all that did was open up a huge bit of space for De Bruyne, because Matic was on the other side of the pitch. De Bruyne then free, got the ball. One of his trademark runs right 30 yards to the edge of the box. United have got to be very wary of that. They're trying to suck the midfield players out of position, and their movement in midfield with Silva, De Bruyne and Sterling is absolutely exceptional. That's the difficulty United have got. But on the other hand, every opportunity, United are going to try and hit them on the break with their width of Martial and their speed of Rashford.
When you were a right back, as you were for so many years with Arsenal and England League, and you got a yellow card early in a big game, I'm not sure if that happened or not to you, what is your approach for the rest of it when you've got a player with the pace of Marcus Rashford to take care of? We'll get back to that in a second. We'll just see if this ball drifts out of play. It does from Kevin De Bruyne. Lee.
That's almost as important as your warm-up before the game. Actually warming yourself up, getting yourself ready for the game. Part of that warm-up should be telling yourself you cannot afford to get a yellow card in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of the game. And so it's ultra important that you go through that process. And when there's a challenge to be made, yes, you've got to be there to make it. But if there's any doubt in it, you've got to pull out. And where he was on the pitch, Walker, it was a split second. It's very difficult. It was one of them. He nearly got there, but not quite. But now he's running the tightrope. He's got to be very... If I tell you what, if I'm Mourinho, I'm telling Martial to push right on him, or Rashford, every time I get the ball, switch it out towards Walker, try and intimidate the fullback.
Foul by Nemanja Matic. Mourinho had a few things to say regarding the referee, well, not him personally, but just a little message. He was talking about simulation for Manchester City. He says they lose balance very easily, a little bit of wind and they fall. And then after the embargo in the press conference, which means that was Saturday's headlines taken care of, and this morning's headlines, it was about tactical fouls. It's a strategy they have, he says. They attack with a lot of players, they can be unbalanced in numbers.
Listen, the fascinating thing, Garlo, with all of that that's gone on, the mind games, Mourinho does it better than most. That's what he does. It's part of his makeup. And then Pep steps in and says, I don't do things like that. That's not what I do. I respect him. This is how my team play, but I would never play defensively. I'd rather give the game up, which was his way of having a dig at Mourinho. So they're both having a go at each other. It's just fascinating stuff. And the players that have got out on the pitch, all 22 of them, they're absolutely marvellous. And already I'm excited about what's to come, because the game has started brilliantly well from an intensity point of view.
Guardiola was asked about their joint love of winning trophies. He said, in that we are twins, and they have collected plenty down the years. Here's Otamendi, scored a vital goal, the equaliser against West Ham United. City beaten for the first time in a long time. A weakened side sent to Ukraine against Shakhtar Donetsk. They'd already qualified easily in their Champions League group. Here's Sane, who switched flanks against Ashley Young into the penalty area. He goes, and the challenge came in from Rashford.
That'll be slightly worrying for Mourinho, because De Bruyne has had too much of the ball already. And you might say he's not really hurting you. He's just set up a move where Sane's got the ball on the wing and run it into the box. That'll be a concern for him, because that's too easy for City.
Silva, he got the winning goal last Sunday at the Etihad against the Hammers. 3 late goals, 3 late winners in succession for City as their winning streak continues. Huddersfield, Southampton, West Ham all beaten 2-1. Sterling into the penalty area. Wasn't far away from Jesus. The flag had stayed down.
Wow. Alarm bells for me. Straight away, I'm looking at those red shirts pointing at each other. How much time has Sterling got there? Too much to turn and run in the box and then play a ball into his centre forward, who's 8 yards from goal. Not good enough from United's closing down point of view.
Was it good enough from Jesus' point of view?
No, he had a bit of a fumble with his feet. Can you have a fumble with your feet?
Well, it was almost like he was trying the back flick when he was one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
I don't think he realised that there wasn't a player behind him. He couldn't believe he had so much space, and I think the City players are thinking that themselves. Up United a little bit.
He's preferred in the starting 11, of course, to Sergio Aguero, Gabriel Jesus, who's actually never failed to score at Old Trafford in the Premier League. 4 goals in 3 Premier League derbies here. For Aguero, he's on the bench.
I love the fact that both managers are in the technical area, 5 yards apart from each other, ignoring each other as if there's a wall between them.
What we're doing here from our vantage point, Lee, is looking down at the 2 greatest managers in the modern game, aren't we? Within, as you say, 5-6 yards of each other, sharing a city. United and City. Lukaku felt he was coming back from an offside position. That's just put Kyle Walker in an awkward spot. He dealt with it well. Here's Otamendi. Loose from Sterling. Rashford. Just a yard or so away from Lukaku. He was clean through.
Well, our hands go up on heads because they both know Rashford and Lukaku is a foot away from being in there, one-on-one on the goalie.
Look at that ball from Fabian Delph. Magnificently sprayed out with a bit of slice on it into the path of Sane. Silva. Lovely intensity to the game so far. Would expect nothing else. Fernandinho, Sane again, running at Ashley Young. It goes to Sterling, who gave the ball away a few moments ago. Sane again gives the ball away this time, but then Herrera can't do anything with it. Won back by Silva. Fernandinho. Sane. Still Sane. Fernandinho with the shot. I think that's cannon off Jesus. Fernandinho just had to check there as the ball was rolling towards the referee. De Bruyne, this is promising for Manchester City, but then an excellent challenge, very physical. Antonio does well on the halfway line.
I seriously want to get down there and get involved. It's just my type of game. It's ferocious. There's loads of brilliant football going on, but there's so much intensity and desire and will to win the ball. It's just fantastic.
We were watching the Merseyside derby, brought to you by Derek Ray and Phil Neville on NBCSN earlier on from Anfield, and when Rooney put away the equaliser from the penalty spot, and we're not going to argue whether that was a penalty or not during this game, but there was a huge roar from the Stretford end and chants of Rooney as their former player and idol put one over their arch rivals, the other rivals really, Liverpool.
Well, you can see that Sane's plonked himself on that right wing against Ashley Young, and this left wing is freed up for anybody to go down there. At the moment, Jesus is standing on the left, and Sterling is pretty much a free roll. Go where you want, do what you want.
Well, Matic with the foul, and Kyle Walker, maybe rightly, the free kick's been given, maybe rightly within his rights to ask why that's not a yellow card. Once the foul has been given, if his was.
No, I think he's looking to get away with that. He kind of looked as if he was trying to pull out, but Matic is experienced enough to know that in that area of the pitch, if a player goes past you at speed like that, it's a warning sign and you need to do something. So he did, stepped in his way, lucky to get away with a yellow, without a yellow.
Vincent Kompany comes up late for this one. Is bent in with real fizz on it by Kevin De Bruyne. I think Nicolas Otamendi is claiming he was pulled back here.
He is. He's there on the edge of the box, number 30. Matic has got hold of him, and Herrera, a little bit of, we're going to see it there, his arms around him. Is there enough? He trips over the feet of Herrera inadvertently. I think that's 6 of 1 and half a dozen as far as the arms are concerned, and the feet is accidental, but keep an eye on it because it's carrying on.
It's an all-Argentine battle, Rojo and Otamendi. Sane takes a deflection. Takes another one as well at the near post of Nemanja Matic. But De Gea able to play. Let's take a look at this. Well defended. Magnificent, wasn't he? We were there. We could barely believe the performance that David De Gea put in last week. 14 saves, equalled the Premier League record. Arsenal 33 attempts to United's 8. But United, you could argue, worthy of their 3-1 win. But De Gea had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, don't get me going on goalkeepers, you know what I'm like. 14 saves, 11 of them he should have saved or he should have docked wages. Been a bit harsh, but you know what I mean. He did play well.
Yeah. Rashford inside of, no, he's not inside of De Bruyne. He did well to spin around and make the challenge, and he's done another one there. A block tackle this time, Kevin De Bruyne. Sterling again into the penalty area, low drive, left-footed, straight at De Gea.
Well, that's Jesus' job. If you get on the edge of the box and you're centre forward, hold it up, wait for a runner. Sterling knows what he's going to do, just go round him, and he does well. Jesus, in the end, just not enough space for Sterling to get his left foot shot away. Decent defending in the end from Smalling on the cover.
13 goals already in all competitions for Raheem Sterling. That's a career best. Martial fouled. Free kick to Manchester United. Fabian Delph, who was suffering from a fever during the week, has recovered in time to start this Manchester derby. He was in midfield due to Fernandinho being rested. Vincent Kompany was on the bench as well against West Ham. Both of them a yellow card away from missing the derby. So too was Sane. He started and didn't get a yellow card, so he's obviously okay to start today. But Delph back to left back. What a ball that is. And Fernandinho through towards Jesus. Chance. Again, it's straight to De Gea.
Too much space in midfield. Look how much space Fernandinho's got. He can play any ball he wants. He slips it down and then it's one-on-one. Once he squares Rojo up, Jesus has got a sight of goal, and he'd be disappointed with that. He's hit it with his left heel. Didn't quite get it out of his feet enough to put the bend on it. But again, Manchester United too open in that midfield area. They're getting stretched at the back, and that's freeing up their midfield, and they've got an extra man in there at times because Lingard's not getting back. And Matic and Herrera are struggling to pick up whoever, because the rotation, Marlow, the rotation of City, it's one after the other. They just keep spinning round.
Is this the problem, Lee, that Jose Mourinho has got in that he is manager of Manchester United? He is 8 points behind City. He's without Paul Pogba, but he's got to try and wrestle the initiative somehow. He can't play for a draw, a style of play that would perhaps come more naturally to him, more containment, more conservative. He has to at least be seen to go and get the 3 points today, but that in doing so leaves gaps at the back for Manchester City to exploit.
Well, I don't necessarily think that they're playing a pressing game now, because they're not. They're getting everybody behind the ball and they're going to hit them on the break. But it's just that City's rotation in that midfield, I think the midfield are playing too deep, but they're scared of their front players. So Herrera and Matic are dropping deeper.
Possibilities here for United. That was fine play by Martial. Lukaku waving for the ball at the back post. Rashford sends it in, but straight to Ederson.
But with the personnel they've got on the pitch, it can't play any different, and so they'll just keep doing what they're doing. At the moment, they're soaking up City's pressure and just relying on a little bit of luck that City haven't created the chance to get 1-0 up. But they'll still try and hit on the break like they just did with those diagonal balls. They haven't got Rashford or Martial in the game yet, because the intensity of City's passing and their control of the ball is too much. They might say, we'll just bide our time and wait for that to change, and it probably will in times in the first half, and certainly in the second half when players tire, etc. You just got to stick to your game plan. He's got no options.
How many scarves has Pep Guardiola got on? Is that just one?
Yeah, it's one of those big ones. There's a name for it, but I can't remember it. Is it pashmina or something like that? I saw him come in with it before the game started. He looked like he'd brought his duvet from his hotel with him.
He was very animated when a few seconds ago when Fernandinho sent that long ball out of play. Before that, of course, Fernandinho killed a beautiful ball through the United defence for Jesus, didn't he?
But he's a perfectionist. That's what he will. If you make one bad pass, he's on your back. Don't make one bad pass. Make 10 good ones.
Jesus on the left-hand side now. Here's Delph. Jesus again. To Silva. Jesus had continued his run. There's Martial. Pressured by Delph. Who's that off last? It's off Martial, who I think felt it came off Delph last, but referee and assistant were in agreement. Sterling. That's a deflection. Sterling again, tripped by Herrera. Sterling turns. Wiggling through. Silva, side putter, gets another opportunity. That takes a deflection and straight to David De Gea.
It's just wave after wave at the moment. United can't get a hold of the ball.
And going back to that game last season, Lee, if you remember, he started with Lingard and Mkhitaryan in the side, Mourinho, and at 2-0 down at half-time, hauled them both off. I think it was far too open for him. Still 0-0 here, though, but pressure being exerted here by Manchester City. Jesus, was he tripped? Michael Oliver had a good view of it. He says no. Under Herrera with the challenge. Huge roar of appeal from the away supporters. Pep Guardiola walking towards Mourinho in the technical area. Maybe he was trying to get the attention of the assistant on the near side, who's in the wrong half of play, to see or do anything about that decision. De Bruyne. Nice layup by Lukaku. And here's Martial. Lingard ahead of him. Still Martial towards Lingard. Martial claiming that he was fouled. just after playing the pass. It was intercepted nicely by Kompany, who's now out of position. And it looked like he won the ball back, but it looked like a very heavy challenge. Herrera still down on the ground. Fans on their feet all around us. It's a derby, everybody. Vincent Kompany's played in enough of them here. Let's take a look.
Well, he did brilliantly well to win the ball at one end. Kompany loses the ball. He certainly dives in to slide tackle. There's different ways to slide tackle from the side. This is the double shuffle. And he certainly gets the ball past and then goes down. Does Herrera's make contact? You'd have to say no, and there should be a yellow card for simulation if it's not a penalty. So one or the other. Doesn't always have to be one or the other, but I think that's the case that it has to be.
Do you think that was a foul by Vincent Kompany?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Seemed like a perfectly executed slide tackle.
The thing is,
I know the trailing leg came in as well. But...
yeah, I've had this conversation with people about, it's slide tackle. And people say, well, slide tackle is from the side and you slide the ball out of play. There's different ways to slide tackle. All it means is you are sliding and making a tackle. It doesn't matter what the angle is. And he slid in, got the ball. There was no danger to the player. It's not a foul.
Guardiola's just cracked into Mourinho territory there.
He nearly tackled him then. Trying to get one of his defenders to tackle and nearly hit Mourinho in the back of the head.
They've retreated to opposite corners of their technical areas now. De Bruyne for Manchester City. Herrera trailing in his wake. Manchester City. Herrera trailing in his wake. Sterling, the move and the run towards the penalty area was made by Silva. Fernandinho with a shot, and it's into the Stretford end.
Just looking at the back four for United, and they're dropping off when De Bruyne is making them runs, and they're asking the midfield players to track those players back. At some point, the back four have got to go, enough's enough, and hold their line and say, we've got to do our job now and defend. I had this conversation with Roy Keane about midfield players tracking midfield players and staying with the runner and helping your back four out, and he turned around to me and said, yeah, I understand that, but at some point the defenders have got to defend. It's not all about that. You've got to pass players on, and the back four has got to do their job. And at the moment, United's back four are dropping off and further and deeper and deeper.
That was a foul.
I think this question's got to be asked by the midfield players. Certainly Herrera and Matic say, we need a bit of help here as well, because we've got runners, we've got people we've got to pick up. 2v1 at times. Can you lot do something behind? Because they've only got Jesus at times to mark.
Every decision or non-decision by Michael Oliver at the moment is eliciting fury in the stands from either set of supporters. The latest was the challenge there by Nemanja Matic.
Perfect case has just happened there. Silva's just gone into the centre-back position and Matic has followed him and said to Rojo, any chance you picking him up? I can't pick him up all day long. I've got a midfield to deal with.
Going back to that Jesus situation, I mentioned those comments by Jose Mourinho a little bit earlier when he talked about diving and a gust of wind and they lose their balance very easily. Maybe that's the sort of thing he's talking about. It's not as if his teams down the years have been completely innocent, or any teams innocent of it these days. Michael Oliver not conned on that occasion, though. Here's Delph. Sterling runs into Lingard. England colleagues. De Gea looking for Lukaku, but straight to De Bruyne.
Sign about how the game's going, just think about how many times you've heard De Bruyne's name, Silva's name, Sterling's name in the commentary from you, and how many times you've heard Lingard, Martial and Rashford. Totally different at the moment because United players forward thinking can't get in the game because of the intensity of City, but it's still 0-0. Jose Mourinho will be looking at the scoreline and saying, yeah, we've been under pressure, but we've still got the chance of hitting them on the break. Our game plan is working at the moment.
Another word in the ear for Kyle Walker. They're trying to steal a couple of yards down the line there. He's just on that tightrope, isn't he, with that yellow card. Huge day for the likes of Lingard and Rashford, young players for Manchester United, and local lads. They are a scarcity these days in these big games, these big derbies in the Premier League. Sane making a run ahead of Silva. Here's Sterling into the path of De Bruyne. Matic getting back. So to Rashford, but De Bruyne able to weave his way across field. Finds Silva. Fernandinho. And again, De Bruyne making a run inside the penalty area. There's Jesus. It'll be a corner.
Look at that again, that move. The ball got crossed diagonally into Jesus, who's in the box, had time to chest it down, bring it down to his feet, look up, see if he can make a pass. The back four of United have dropped deeper than that. You've got to push up, they're playing too deep.
Sane over all of his teammates. Rashford. Lingard has made a run. Ball over the top. Lingard trying to get there ahead of Walker. Ederson does very well indeed. Did that take a touch off Lingard, or was it Walker's back pass? I'm not entirely sure. It was well dealt with by Ederson. That's part of the reason why he's in the side, because he can deal with balls at his feet very well.
Yeah, I think it came back from Walker, and Lingard, when he was looking for that ball over the top, he didn't realise he'd picked the fastest player on the pitch to run against, and anybody else and he would have been away, but that's one of Walker's strengths, and he just went back, brilliant defending in the end. Well, that's the ball they're looking for, and they haven't got it over City's back four too many times.
Is that why they are so deep?
Yeah, well, that's the way they're playing. They're sucking City on, and they're going to try and frustrate and win the ball back, and then hit them over the top and down the sides. The trouble is, they haven't won the ball back enough, and City have had too much possession. And Jose might say, well, you know, it's the game plan. It's fine. They conceded 33 chances against Arsenal last week, won 3-1. Knock yourself out, City. See how many chances you can get today, and we'll probably do the same to you. Hit you on the break and try and get our fast players into the game later on.
Fernandinho. The flag stays down. Snow falling a little heavier here at Old Trafford. As we approach the half-hour mark, Otamendi, room to shoot.
See, I'm looking at Smalling now, and he's having a little go at Herrera, having a go at him. I mean, what's he supposed to do? Tell me what he's supposed to do. He's got a player outside him. This is the other chance, the ball in the box. Again, that's a difficult chance to bring down, but it's an easy ball to him, too easy. But because the United defenders are dropping so deep, all that does is free up City's strength area, which is their midfield. And they're using that by running into the grass in front of them. As a kid, you're always taught, there's grass in front of you, run into it as a player, because that's goal dust. You want to eat up those yards in front of you to get closer to the goal in order to create a chance. And United are vacating that area because their back four is too deep.
Close quarters near the touchline there by Manchester United, but it's a shove in the back by Lingard and Otamendi. He puts the ball into the net. I think he's half hopes that it will be two shoulders leaning at each other. We won't go into that one again after last week, but no, I think he just turned into a dig into the back, didn't it?
Lingard's looking at him and showing him his biceps, saying, you need to get on the weights, mate. The trouble was, it wasn't shoulder to shoulder. He just leaned into... Otamendi's a clever, experienced player, and he knows if he can get his back turned towards Lingard just ahead of him, he knows he's going to heave into him eventually, and he's just waiting for that.
Well, he's got 3 goals in his last 2 Premier League games. Jesse Lingard scored a virtuoso effort against Watford in a 4-2 victory in the last midweek round of games, and then of course 2 goals at the Emirates last weekend. The first from a delightful little flick or pass with the outside of the boot at close quarters from Anthony Martial. Those two displaying a fabulous understanding. And you picked up on the Pogba assist as well for the 3rd goal, where he just eased up the pace and then suddenly turned on the afterburners to get round the defender and set up Lingard for the open goal, which sealed it. Fernandinho for Manchester City. Again, space here for Sterling, closed down by Herrera. Still Sterling, the give and go, and a challenge by Ashley Young. And Sterling has fouled Young, and now a little altercation between Sterling and Rojo.
Calling the captain over. Valencia, have a word with your centre half, will you? Getting a bit lippy. That time I thought Sterling should have let go with a shot. He had a chance, he tried to take it round another player. Again, look how much space. Too easy to get into the box. Shoot now. But he just took too many touches.
Turned 23 on Friday, Raheem Sterling.
He's been around years, hasn't he?
He has. And now there's a clash in the centre circle.
Yeah, Rojo will stay down because he knows he's getting a yellow card.
On come the trainers. The 2 managers, I think, having a word with each other. Nothing untoward. Let's take a look at this. Silva left on the floor. The City trainers only just called onto the field. Silva has signed a 1-year extension to his contract, which will take him to 2020 and 10 years at City. He's a real legend, says Pep Guardiola. He looks skinny. He doesn't like to run too much, he says, but he's never injured, and every 3 days he's fit.
I remember those days. Don't used to train a lot towards the end. Just have a nice little walk about in the gym, go in the swimming pool, go in the sauna, bit of stretching.
But these are the situations where you want to see the protocols followed, Lee, don't you? Silva's back on his feet. A game like this, the intensity of it, you're bound to say, yeah, I'm fine, I want to continue. But head injuries, clashes of heads like this are being taken more and more seriously, of course, in all sport, not least in the Premier League. Actually a lot of blood around the face of Rojo, so there may be a change here. Lindelof is getting himself ready. He's still got a bib on, just in case. We saw Shinji Okazaki of Leicester yesterday at St James's Park, swathed in bandages, and he was involved in the winning goal. Afterwards he had 9 stitches in a head wound, the Japanese international. Concern here as Rojo is still down, and Lindelof intensifies his warm-up. You were right about the yellow card. Just out of picture, Rojo's been shown a yellow by Michael Oliver. Replacement shirt required for Marcus Rojo. Lindelof started the last 4 Premier League games after the injury to Phil Jones. Also, Eric Bailly is out, of course. Rojo getting a new shirt on the sideline at the moment. United down to 10 men without one of their centre-backs. Here's Jesus into the penalty area, trying to take advantage of that, and then he clips the heels of Martial. Michael Oliver had a look, but won't take any further action, and he's up one of the strategic fouls Mourinho has been talking about in his press conference.
Yeah, exactly. They do, because they put so many men forward, Manchester City. When they lose the ball, they go on a high press, the 5 seconds. So can we win the ball back? If they don't win it back straight away, they've got so many men forward that they're unbalanced at the back, and so that's where the fouls come in. They break up play by tripping players up, etc.
Rojo is bandaged but unbowed, and he's back in the heart of that Manchester United defence.
You might look at that and say, oh, it's really cynical, shouldn't be doing that, but it's intelligent play, because if you're outnumbered at the back, then you've got to do something about it. But it's a gamble that they take, that the referee will miss quite a few and they don't get too many yellow cards. It's that high pressing game. If you can break through that first press, then you can get away at them, but they're so good at it. And there's so many of them. There's blue shirts everywhere in the last third of the pitch most of the time.
Company went to ground early and was able to get there ahead of Lukaku. Given away by Otamendi to Matic. A groan from the crowd, and they're looking a bit stretched here, Manchester United. Here's Silva into the area to Sterling. That was good defensive covering by Ashley Young.
Well, Ashley Young did brilliantly well there, because he could quite easily stay wide on Sane, but he saw the danger, came in, good covering. That's what a fullback needs to do. He's not needed out wide, come in to help the centre half out, and he did a brilliant job there. Always fascinated with formations and numbers, etc. What would City do if Manchester United went, OK, Rashford and Martial just go up top and play 3 up top? They've got to keep 4 back. It's a numbers game. So you take the advantage and say, right, we're going to push you back. We're not going to sit everyone back. We're going to make you keep 4 players back, and then the rest of the pitch will go man to man.
There was a cry of attack from the Stretford end then, given away by Delph. And then the challenge comes in on Lukaku. No foul.
I mean, how quick's that to win the ball back? Lukaku, who's like swarming around him to try and win it back. The intensity, the hunger, the desire. We want that ball back. Pep's teams play with the football. They don't like it when they haven't got it. So they do everything in their power to win it back as early as they can, so they can do this. 1, 2, pass, move, chance on goal.
Silva trying to thread it through towards Sterling. Rojo. They're passing out of defence, isn't finding its mark at the moment. Another free kick to Manchester City. De Bruyne. Sterling. Delph. Space here for David Silva. Bruyne in between the lines. Silva drops the shoulder. Sterling, Silva back into the penalty area. Miscue by Smalling, or was it a dummy? Not entirely sure. United able to clear, but it's scrappy ball. And Old Trafford and the home fans are starting to grow a little frustrated here. Delph being put under some pressure. Can United create a turnover high up the field? The answer is no. Lukaku, Lingard, Martial ahead of the ball as Fernandinho brings it into United's half. Here's Silva again, seeing a lot of the ball as usual. Sane running here at Young on the left foot. edge of the area. De Bruyne squares it. Raheem Sterling cannons into Chris Smalling. Delph to the far post, and Sane brings it down. The shot tipped over by De Gea. That's the closest we've seen to a goal so far in this first half, and De Gea is at it again.
Brilliant ball from Delph. Look at Sane just pulling off the back of Ashley Young. Gets underneath it, the fullback. First touch, good out of his feet. Going for the top corner, lifts the ball. Gets it out of his feet here. De Gea. Equal to last week's performance with a tip over the bar.
Towards the near post, the heads go up, chance, goal! Manchester City hit the front, David Silva scores again! In front of the Stretford end, David Silva for Manchester City, who take a step towards an 11-point lead at the top of the Premier League. Manchester United 0, Manchester City 1.
Just watch him drift off Lingard. There he goes into the space. How can you have that much space? It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing from a defensive point of view. A Manchester United team that have struggled at set pieces, everybody looking around. No point looking around, pick your men up. And that's an easy tap-in for Silva. He won't get an easier one. De Gea no chance, and he'll be looking at his defence saying, yes, challenge for the ball, but not everybody. They got sucked into the ball area and forget people around. Lingard goes ball watching. What a break.
The winner against West Ham United 7 days ago, and he opens the scoring in the 175th Manchester derby. United respond. Valencia. Herrera. Valencia takes it on. 3 red shirts to aim for. Corner for United. Their first of the game so far. Inside the final minute of the first 45. This is an area that Pep Guardiola felt that United would be strong. Matic would have had the chance on the left foot if they were able to bring the ball down. He's done well against Sane. And Delph with the challenge. United have it back. Because they've got men over. Smalling. Blocked by De Bruyne. Oh, De Bruyne could be away. They've made a mess of that, Manchester United. It's 3 against 3. Sane on the far side. Down the middle is Sterling. He's forced Sane back. He didn't get it right there, Kevin De Bruyne. We haven't seen too many mistakes or misjudgments from him so far this season. That was a collector's item.
Well, I don't think it was him who got it wrong. It was Sterling ahead of him. He didn't know Sane was running behind him. He needed to get out the space.
End to end at the end of this first half. The shot comes in straight at Ederson.
Sane was running behind him. He needed to get out the space.
To end at the end of this first half, the shot comes in straight at Ederson. A grin from Martial. Terrific action here. The Lexus stoppage time is 4 minutes. Of course, we had the attention to David Silva and Marcus Rojo after the clash of heads. Manchester City aiming for a 14th consecutive Premier League victory.
Just constant instructions going on the pitch from Pep Guardiola. He never lets up. He must be worn out at the end of the game. I don't know how it's coming across at home, but such a great game to commentate on. And we had a pearler last week.
De Gea has given the ball away to Sane. Was he dragged down by Ashley Young? Again, Michael Oliver had a terrific view of it and says no, and Young is marauding away. Lovely first touch by Martial. Silva back with an excellent tackle. It's got an ebb and flow of an NBA game at the moment.
Oh, it's just end to end, isn't it?
Ball curled in towards Lukaku. Takes an awkward flick. Here's Rashford! One more! City make a mess of that at the back. Rashford capitalises, the Manchester lad. United won, City won.
Well, it's as close as it got to the City goal. And it's a massive mistake. A missed header from Otamendi, skids off the floor, Delph misses it. Rashford's just thinking, oh, please miss it. And he did. Got to put his right leg on that. He tries to hit it with his hip. And that boy doesn't miss from there. It's an easy chance in the end from him. It comes from two mistakes. Otamendi fly to the ball, misses, and then the skid off the pitch. And the left back, equally poor mistake. United back in it. What a game.
Mourinho telling everyone to calm down. Pep Guardiola displaying his disappointment. A fourth Premier League goal of the season for Marcus Rashford. And his first since the defeat at Huddersfield. He'd gone 6 without scoring. Remember, he scored the winner at the Etihad in only his fourth career Premier League appearance last March. And he's retreated, Pep Guardiola, to the bench and listened to Old Trafford. Lingard with the foul. And Fernandinho. Inside the final minutes of the minimum of 4 to be added on here at the end of the first half.
Just tell the lads in the studio they've got half an hour to analyse this. We're extending the half-time.
Still think you struggle to get all the highlights in and the talking points. Here's Otamendi. The flick off his head and then Delph just unable to deal with the ball, wasn't he? And then once Rashford saw the whites of Ederson's eyes, that was it. In a flash, we're level. The whistle blows. Right, we can all have a breather. Coming up on Premier League half-time, Rebecca Lowe, Robbie Earle and Robbie Mustoe have first-half highlights and analysis. Plus, they're joined by the former Everton manager and current Belgium national team manager, Roberto Martinez. All next on Premier League half-time, presented by Volkswagen. It's a cracker. Don't go away.
Want to hear something crazy? We somehow figured out how to make this easy.